In this video, we're going to break down step by step 2 variations of Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutations, helping you understand each posture as it unfolds in the whole sequence. So, we'll see you soon. Hi everyone, I'm Deborah with Rituals Yoga, and this is the video where we're going to focus on breaking down 2 variations of Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutations. So I'm going to walk you through slowly each part of the posture so that you understand when these practices are integrated into a larger yoga class, you have a deeper understanding of how it's meant to be done. Sometimes we get into a class or we take an online practice and it's as if the teacher moves us right into this, and sometimes we need to take a step back and understand what it is we're actually doing. Okay, so I'm going to take you through 2 variations. One is a more beginner variation and one is a classical variation. So the first variation, you have your feet hip distance apart, always starting in standing. You inhale. And when you exhale, you bring your hands into prayer position. You're going to inhale and you're going to reach the arms up and you extend up and back, okay, on your inhalation. Now, if you can't bend back, if it hurts your lower back, you simply reach up, okay? But traditionally, it's a slight bend in the back as you inhale. On your exhale, you slowly allow the body to come forward. Just into a forward fold. On your inhalation, you bring your hands to the floor and you step your right foot back into a lunge. Okay, this can be a high lunge or a low lunge position. And then you hold your breath and you step back into a plank pose. Good, and then on your exhalation, traditionally you drop your knees, your chest and your chin to the floor, coming into this posture. Now, often what happens here, if you're not familiar with this pose, is you try to just lower down and you end up somewhere here, okay? The problem there is you're just simply not bringing your heart forward enough to the front of your mat. So if you find yourself here, go ahead and come back up. And this time bring your chest right between your hands and make sure your elbows don't go out to the side. You really want to pull the elbows in to engage the triceps, the outer arms. So you drop the chest between your hands and the chin is on the floor and your bum stays lifted up in the air. Good. And as you inhale, you drop your belly and you come up into a cobra. So as you come up into cobra, try not to just press into your hands and lift up. Instead, you engage the muscles of your lower back. Again, sometimes the elbows tend to go out, pull them in towards the body. And then once you feel the muscles of the back engage, you can take it a little bit deeper with your arms. Again, consciously pulling your elbows in next to your body. And then exhaling, you turn your toes and transition into a downward facing dog. Good. And then on your inhalation, your right foot, the same foot that went back, now steps forward. So your right foot comes between your hands. Often, when we're beginning, it doesn't make it. So if it doesn't, take your ankle and guide it forward. What we really don't want to see is this position. Not doing anyone any good. Okay, especially your knee. So step your foot forward. Your knee is always in line with your ankle. And you can drop the back knee if you want to here, or sometimes some variations keep it lifted. And then on your exhalation, you step that left foot forward to meet the right. And you let the head relax down. And on your inhale, you press down to the feet and you lift up to stand. Maybe you take a slight back bend and exhale. Hands come to the heart. Good. And then traditionally you do it on the right side. You would repeat on the left side. So when you go to the practice, you'll actually get to feel this in your body, okay? Now the second variation is a little bit different. You do it without the lunge, okay? So you're gonna inhale, lift your arms up, bend slightly back. Exhale, folding forward, releasing down. Good. Inhaling, you're gonna come halfway up. Okay, so don't try to come all the way up, just lifting your chest up. Bend your knees to bring the hands to the floor, and you have two options to go back. The first and easier option is you simply step back into plank pose. You step your right foot and then your left foot back, and you're here. The slightly more advanced option is to hop back into plank. So you ground your hands to the floor, and then you hop with both feet back into a plank pose. Okay, when you're in plank, make sure your belly doesn't sink down. Really pull the navel up and in towards you. Okay, and then from plank, we move into what's called Chaturanga Dandasana. So you'll often hear yoga teachers shorten this and just say Chaturanga. Okay, Chaturanga is the fancy Sanskrit word for a tricep push-up. Okay, so you're gonna lower halfway down, and you're gonna keep, the minute your elbows hit the side of your body, you're gonna stop. Don't take your chest further than that. Oftentimes that puts way too much pressure on the shoulders and can create injury in the long run. So you really wanna keep your elbows in, and you're gonna stop when you feel the elbows hit the side of your body. This can be done with knees lifted or with your knees down if you're still building your arm strength. So from here, okay, you're gonna exhale and release to Chaturanga Dandasana, tricep push-up. Option one, if you're feeling strong, you hold here. Option two, drop your knees and lower halfway down, holding here, okay? And then on your inhalation, you move into an upward facing dog. So you lower down, exhale, halfway, point your toes, and you lift up into an upward facing dog position. So in this position, your toes are pointed, your knees and your hips are lifted off of the floor. Unlike in Cobra, where your hips are down and grounded, here everything's lifted up, so it's more of an intense back bend. Okay, press into your hands here to take the pressure out of your low back. Inhale, maybe look up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and traditionally you hold downward facing dog for 5 breaths, okay? And this is the point where you really come back to a slow and steady breathing. So you hold for 5 breaths. Good, and then you inhale, look forward. And just like you had 2 options to go back, you have 2 options to come forward. The easier option, step your right foot and your left foot to the front. The more challenging option is to drop the hips slightly down, bend the knees, and hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, the arms draw out to the side. Slight bend in your back. Exhale, hands to the heart. So one important thing to keep in mind when you're doing any variation of sun salutations is traditionally this is done with what's called Ujjayi breath, okay? Sounds fancy and intimidating, it's not. It's actually a really simple and powerful form of breathing, okay? And the way I teach people who aren't familiar with Ujjayi breath how to do it is you're inhaling and you're constricting slightly the back of your throat. And as you exhale, it's like you're fogging a mirror, right? So if you're fogging a mirror, you go like this, right? Maybe do that with me. Inhale, and then exhale. Now you're gonna do that again, but don't keep your mouth open. Close your mouth and keep the same breathing that you just did. So inhale, exhale. Maybe you can hear the sound of the breath. It's also called ocean breathing because it sounds like the waves of the ocean. So traditionally in all sun salutations, you're keeping and engaging Ujjayi breath in and out through your nose, a slight constriction in the back of your throat, and you'll hear a wave-like sound of your breathing. Okay? You can try that. If it's too complicated, just focus on getting the movement and the breath first. You can always add Ujjayi breath later. So when you're ready, we can begin the practice. Hopefully this is more clear. Namaste.